Have you ever met someone that later you wish you had never met? Let's talk about that. For those of you who have read the Bible a few times, what is the most famous verse in the book of Joshua? I don't know why I'm asking you a question, because you can't respond to me. But I'll tell you, it is a verse that says, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." The New Living Translation says, "As for me and my family, we will serve the Lord." But very few of us know what comes before that. So I'd like to read it to you right now. It's found in Joshua chapter 24, verses 15 and 16. And they say this: "But if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today whom you will serve. Would you prefer the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates? Or will it be the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you now live? But as for me and my house, or as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord." So Johnny, if you prefer not to do your chores, that's fine. I'm just not going to pay for it. I'm not going to let it affect me. And Tim, or if you are going to keep doing drugs, if you're going to keep on with your bad habits and you're not going to quit your harmful ways, that's fine, but you're not going to take me down with you. Joshua is saying, you do what you've got to do. I can't make you serve the Lord, but as for me and my family, we are going to serve the Lord. So in light of Joshua's commitment to take responsibility for his own actions and for his own family's actions, I'm going to ask you now to stop the video and answer question 1, and then we'll move on. One way of avoiding having to take a stand or take positions against your friends or what your friends are doing is being careful about who you consider friends. And I'm not talking about the people you hang out with or the people you do things with. I'm talking about the people that you consider friends, because in the next series we're talking about how to nudge people and how to, when you're around people that don't have the exact ideas and beliefs and thoughts as you do, how do you nudge them toward what you believe? So we're not against that, but what I am talking about is being careful about who you consider a friend, the people that you trust, the people that are a major part of your life. Andy Stanley says, "Sometimes it's folks we've met that lead us to our greatest regret." Sometimes it's folks we've met that lead us to our greatest regret. And that is so true. On Sunday, I said, our friends determine the quality and direction of our lives. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise." It just happens. You don't have to do it intentionally. It just happens. You don't have to make it happen. It just happens. Walk with the wise and you'll become wise. And then it says, "Associate with fools and get in trouble." Associate with fools and get in trouble. Are there people in your life that are making bad choices, that are negatively impacting themselves, and they're also negatively impacting their relationship with you? Don't look at them right now if they're in the room. Are these people in your life making bad choices and bringing you down? Stop now and go ahead and answer question 2. So in the example I shared earlier, Joshua didn't try to force everyone to serve the Lord, and instead he decided to set an example. But that's foreign to our culture. We've decided that it is our responsibility to judge anyone and everyone else's beliefs. We have to judge their opinions, judge their actions and their thoughts. And if we don't agree with them, it is our job to convince them that they are wrong and we are right. We've been trained to boycott or protest against anything that we disagree with. But that's not our job. I remember growing up in the church, there was always this giant list of businesses that we would boycott just because there was something small or maybe sometimes something big about their business that we didn't agree with. So instead of trying to set a good example and try to be like Christ in our actions, we decided that the best way to stop them from doing what they were doing was to boycott everything. And sometimes it got to the extreme where it was like we couldn't do anything. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't buy anything. We couldn't do things because we were boycotting so many. We were taking a stance against so many different things. And so when we took a stance, it meant nothing because we were taking a stance so often. But it's not just the Christians who do this. You just turn on the news anytime when the news isn't covered with coverage of the hurricanes, and you'll see people protesting and people rioting because people are talking about things that they don't agree with, and they'll stop people from speaking and talking. They'll stop debate from happening because somebody is saying something they don't agree with. That is not our responsibility. We have to learn how to build boundaries between what we are responsible for and what we are not, because we take these things upon ourselves. We take other people's actions upon ourselves, and all that does is bring us both down. And that doesn't mean we don't speak out against what is wrong. It doesn't mean we don't speak up about what is right. But if people don't listen when we do speak out, that's on them. That's not on us. Don't let their response to our speaking out, to our speaking truth, don't let that control you. That's on them. We're going to be moving into a series called Nudge, our next series, and we're going to be talking about nudging people towards the truth, nudging people to show them what is right, setting an example. But for now, let's talk about our own boundaries and how we allow other people to affect our behavior, how we allow other people to affect our feelings. And when people can't control themselves, when they have a lack of self-control, we want to reach over and we want to control them for them, but that is not our job. We would be better off to put the responsibility on them and then set a good example. So for the next questions 3, 4, and 5, reflect on the way you allow other people to speak into your life and how you speak into other people's lives. And I'll see you next Sunday when we begin a new series called Nudge.